Having dealt with these things which pertain to the knowledge of the divine intellect, it now remains to consider the will of God. For from the fact that God is intelligent, it follows that he is willing. For since the good understanding is the proper object of the will, it is necessary that the good understanding as such be willed. But the intellect is said to the intelligent. It is necessary, therefore, that he who understands good as such must be willing. But God understands good. For when he is perfectly intelligent, as is clear from what has been said above, he understands being at the same time as the reason of good. He is therefore willing. Still, whoever has some form, through that form, has a relation to the things that exist in nature. Just as a white tree, by its whiteness, is like to some and unlike to others. Now in the intelligent and sentient is the form of the thing understood and sensed, since all knowledge is by some similitude. It must therefore be the attitude of the intelligent and sentient towards those things which are understood and sensed according to what they are in the nature of the world. But this is not through what they understand and feel, because to understand and to feel is according to what things are in the understanding and sense, according to the manner of both. But the feeling and understanding has a relation to that which is outside the soul through the will and the appetite, wherefore all sensibility and intelligence desire and will. The will, however, is properly in the understanding. Therefore, since God is intelligent, he must be willing. Further, that which follows every being belongs to a being inasmuch as it is a being. But what is of this kind must be found in that which is the first being. Now it behooves every being to desire its own perfection and self-preservation, yet to each according to his own manner, indeed to intellectuals by the will, to animals by the sensible appetite, but to those lacking in sense by the natural appetite. However, those who have and those who do not have are different. For those who do not have, by the appetitive power of their own kind, they tend to acquire what they lack, but what they have, rest in him. This, therefore, cannot be lacking in the first being, which is God. Therefore, since he himself is intelligent, he has a will by which he pleases his own being and his own goodness. Again, to understand, the more perfect it is, the more delightful it is to the intelligent. But God understands, and his understanding is most perfect, as was shown above. Therefore, understanding is the most delightful thing for him. But pleasure is intelligible through the will, just as pleasure is sensible through the appetite of concupiscence. Therefore, there is a will in God. In addition, form considered by the intellect does not move or cause anything except through the medium of the will, the object of which is the end and the good by which one is moved to act. Hence the speculative intellect does not move, nor pure imagination without appreciation. But the form of the divine intellect is the cause of movement and being in others. For things act through the intellect, as will be shown below. It is therefore necessary that he himself be willing. Again, in the motive virtues, in those having the understanding, the will is first found, for the will applies all power to its act. For we understand because we will, and we imagine because we will, and so about others. And it has this because its object is the end. Although the intellect, not according to the mode of an efficient and moving cause, but according to the mode of a final cause, moves the will, proposing to itself its object, which is the end. Therefore it is most fitting for the first mover to have the will. In addition, free is that which is its own cause, and thus free has the reason of what it is by itself. But the will first has freedom in action. For inasmuch as one acts voluntarily, he is said to do any action freely. Therefore the first agent has the most power to act by the will, and the one to whom it has the most power to act by himself. Further, end and agent are always found in the end of one order in things. Hence the next end, which is proportionate to the agent, falls in the same species with the agent, both in natural and artificial things. For the form of art by which the artist acts is the species of form which is in the material, which is the end of the artist. And the form of the generative fire in which it acts is of the same species as the form of the begotten fire, which is the end of generation. But to God, nothing is coordinated as if of the same order except himself. Otherwise there would be several firsts, the opposite of which was shown above. He is therefore the first agent for the sake of the end, which is himself. Therefore he himself is not only the desirable end, but desiring, so to speak, the end itself, and intellectual appetite, since it is intelligent, which is the will. Therefore there is a will in God. But this will of God is confirmed by the sacred testimonies of the Scriptures. For it is said in the Psalm, "Whatever he willed, the Lord did." And Romans 9:19, "Who resists his will